It's no big. So anyway, let's talk about news. We were gone for a while, but we kind of picked out the things that stood out the most. So let's
Yeah,
do
I
that.
mean, it's the holidays. There's not a lot of news going on. A lot of places are just like closed or not doing anything the last couple weeks of the year usually. So
Mhm.
despite us missing, I don't know, it's been like 3 weeks or something like that. I think the last one we did was the Game Awards,
Correct.
which was like 3 weeks ago.
Correct.
Um, so yeah, I don't think there's actually a ton of news.
Yeah. I mean, the Game
Yeah,
Awards was the really big thing this month. That was the thing. Um, but a couple things did occur. Not necessarily like major releases or anything like that, but let's start with this. During a live stream, a designer of Cyberpunk responded to a comment. This person does live streams frequently for Cyberpunk, which by the way is amazing to me. Still doing live streams for Cyberpunk, but I mean they're giving updates. It's fair to say that if they're doing more updates and fixes, they should still keep some community presence. The question that was asked was related to why there are no car chases, or like why there are just infrequent car chases in Cyberpunk. Why don't they work? Most open world, I'm gonna say like more like grounded in reality slash futuristic, where they should have cars or access to that, and our open world have car chases. I'm specifically talking about Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto has
yeah,
car chases. I'm guessing some of the other Grand Theft Auto-esque games like Saints Row had car chases. Like Far Cry has freaking car chases. Okay, that's an open world game, has car chases. Um, Red Dead Redemption doesn't have cars, but it has horse races and horse chases where you're getting chased by the law. Cyberpunk doesn't really have that, or it's broken. It's just completely broken. And the response was, "Well, Elden Ring won't have them either, or Sonic won't." And the response is just so dumb. It's just such
yeah.
a bad response.
That's possibly one of the worst responses he could have given, other than just like "fuck you, I don't care."
Or just don't just say. You could literally just default to PR response, going, "Yep, we understand that police chases, car chases aren't well developed in the game right now. We're working on it." Just say that. You're already working on a ton of other stuff in the game still, so it's not like it's out of the question that they're probably fixing and updating police chasing the game. Yeah, Elden Ring doesn't have car chases because it doesn't have cars. Like Sonic, it doesn't have car chases because it's Sonic. Like, what do you like? The response is just really bad. It's a bad response.
I mean, yeah.
It's just like an offensive response too. It's like, are you really trying to insult my intelligence? You
Yeah, it's
think
like
I'm gonna
you
agree
really
with you?
think you think I'm this stupid that these games are comparable, because they're not at all. None of the three games mentioned, Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, and Sonic, despite all being open world games, none of them are really comparable in the slightest. They all play vastly differently.
So this is also something that was said, and I didn't even see this before in the stream, but I'm gonna highlight it here. I'm gonna zoom in and highlight it because this is super important. Sasko goes on to say, Sasko being the quest director that I'm mentioning here, that the real reason for the lack of car chase mechanics was an inability to get it working in the game before launch, and that they eventually gave up on having it. Okay,
Cool.
your game should have been delayed then. You just should have delayed it more. You should. It was already delayed, but like it's just like more proof. It's also kind of offensive that this was in the Game Awards, knowing all this too. It's like your game just wasn't finished at all, not even close, and you knew it wasn't finished, so you just gave up on stuff.
It's a year later and that game still isn't finished.
It's
Like,
like it's crazy. Like you just gave up on stuff. And I've heard people talk about how this game is still like, oh, no, the story's really good and all this. Who cares? You can't play it. You can't play this game. It doesn't function. So who cares about the story? Game doesn't work. I don't care. It, I'm sure the main quest line works, but who cares? Nothing else works. It's stupid. So this was just such a dumb response that I saw, and then I saw this like at least a week ago. And yeah, 21st December, 2021. This was such a bad response to a con. We had to bring this to the table. It was so bad. So I mean, just crazy. Skyrim doesn't have car chasing. That's something.
Yeah.
Some people thought it was like the guy was joking, but it's like, okay, but jokes are supposed to be funny, and they should be witty or smart. Your joke was stupid, illogical. It didn't piece together well. So that's a real swing and a miss on that one, if that's the case. Yeah. So anyway, okay. After a few years of lawsuit, this lawsuit was filed 2 years ago. No, 3 years ago. I'm sorry, it was filed 3 years ago. Um, for gender discrimination, sexual harassment, and misconduct at Riot Games. Okay, so this finally there has been a settlement, $100 million settlement of class action gender discrimination lawsuit that will go to current, former employees and contractors who are women. So this has been settled. I don't know if this is going to change anything. I just want to point out the obvious though. It feels like the rug has been pulled out, so to speak. Like we are now seeing what's under the rug. And
Mhm.
what's under the rug is disgusting. It's like
Yep.
the crustiest, moldiest, most horrifying thing we could possibly have imagined. And like I think there are definitely people who could have easily guessed it or about it before. But just seeing all this information now, I think like the last 3 years, it's gotten so much worse just figuring out all this stuff. Is there like, it just makes me think, is there any big studio that's like not gender discriminating or having sexual misconduct? At this point, we've hit plenty of them. Actually, know who we haven't hit is EA. Actually, I don't recall EA getting any of this action, but Ubisoft, Riot, Activision, Blizzard. Let's see here. I mean, there was misconduct at CD Projekt Red, but
CD. Yeah.
that wasn't sexual misconduct. That was just like general misconduct. There was another company that didn't another company do like a survey of their employees in the game industry, and most of them, and like the higher percentage was there is some kind of misconduct going on. Like it's just like
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. I don't remember which
we
company it was though.
we talked about it, and it was like, oh, this is horrible. Um, it's just like it seems like every company in the game industry in particular. Obviously, generally speaking, there are definitely companies that have these issues. Well,
I mean, the sad truth is, whether it's gender discrimination or other kinds of discrimination or just treating people like shit, if people can act in a juvenile manner and treat people like shit and get away with it, especially, people on the like upper echelons of the totem pole, so to speak, when there's, not a lot of repercussions for them, well, they're gonna do it, unfortunately, if there's
right.
no repercussions. Just kind of the sad truth. And, yeah,
I
I mean, the people at the top rarely have any repercussions or anything for, you know, treating people terribly, underpaying, you know, creating hostile work environments, terrible working hours. Like, yeah,
Well, they don't typically get punished, and if they do, they get fired and they get a. Is usually what
yep.
happens. Is they get a parachute.
Or they get a minimal fine that is a slap on the wrist. Like
Oh yeah,
100 million sounds like a lot, but to Riot, that's nothing. That's a drop in the
no.
bucket.
To Riot,
Like,
as of right now, that's like nothing. That's the problem too with like, for example, when they find companies like Amazon. It's like Amazon just like laughs its ass off and goes, "Oh, okay, you find us like even for Amazon, if they're like you get $500 million fine, be like, okay,
cool.
so what? Okay, ouch. Yeah, Riot at this point, I mean, they were making a couple billion on League alone at the time. You add in Valorant to that list, and Valorant, I imagine, makes a lot of money too.
Yep.
Legends of Runeterra probably less so, but Valorant's making a lot, I'd imagine. Whenever they come out with their fighting game, that could make just like Riot potentially doubled their revenue with Valorant because Valorant is so popular. Um, obviously, we don't actually know that that's true or not. I'm just pointing out that like $100 million for that. It's like okay, they make $4 billion. If we're saying that it's doubled, like 100 million, they're not going to care that much. They're not going to
Yeah.
care as much. I'm sure there's like plenty of profit to deal with that. And even so, who's going to get punished when they have to pay out that? They're just going to lay people off bottom level.
Yeah. They're
Not going
gonna
to lay
lay
off the
people off.
top level.
Yeah, they're gonna
What do you
lay people off, or they're gonna reduce. It's hard to reduce wages, or just like
No.
reduce wages. But the CEOs, the people at the top, they're still gonna take their huge bonuses. They're gonna get their millions and millions and millions. It's like
Yeah,
okay,
it's just
cool.
like okay, and that's that's just so. Anyway, I don't know. Like I'm thinking that we're just gonna keep getting more. The rug's been pulled out. It's not gonna stop.
Yep,
I just yeah, it's pretty gross. Anyway,
pretty gross indeed.
that was what, a week ago that this came out? Or this past week.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also saw something. There's a part of this apparently where part of the settlement as well is there's some sort of third party oversight committee that's going to be like, overseeing their conduct for I don't remember how long, a couple of years at least, just to make sure everything's.
A couple years? Okay. You know what's gonna happen after a couple years. It's just gonna
Yeah.
unless like everybody changes, like it just cycles out. Nothing's gonna actually really fix itself. I mean,
Yep.
it's got to take like a pretty big sweeping change, and it's got to start up here, and it's got to then it trickles down, and that's kind of how you do it. Um, but I mean, for whatever reason, these people are parachuted for whatever reason. All this shit comes out and happens. Like, oh well, it wasn't. It's not Bobby's fault. Just leave Bobby in there. Okay, you're just gonna get more of a microscope though, and you're gonna have more problems. So I don't I don't get that stuff, but it's cushy up there. It's really cushy up there.
Sure is.
It's really cushy up there. Okay. Let's talk about 2 weeks ago. I personally was seeing news regarding the FF7 remake's PC port. I don't even know if it's changed by now. If there's any, I'm sure there has to have been at least one update. Although it is Square and Square PC ports, I, I don't know how much love it's getting early on, like quick updates it's getting.
They tend to update them, but it usually takes a while.
Yeah,
They're not usually fast about it. Like the Kingdom Hearts ones had huge issues, and it took them like 4 or 5 months to freaking update them. It's like okay,
yeah.
cool.
So they're not going to update it right away. So I'm going to assume that no changes. But apparently, the PC port was not liked by at least most outlets that I've seen. Um, apparently, there are no graphics options, which is staggering to me. How the hell do you not have a graphics option? Like
Yeah,
low,
that's
medium,
stupid.
high? Like how do you not have that? Stuttering in gameplay. I showed a video of that. I don't think the video's in here, but there is like if you watch videos on YouTube, you can just see stuttering in the game, and it's really bad. Um, I don't know about the overpriced package part. I actually don't know how much it is. Oh, it's $70 for all that. So I think it comes with FF7 Remake. Does Intergrade come in with that? Is Intergrade packaged in there, or is it
Yeah,
just?
I'm pretty sure it's integrated.
Oh, okay. Okay. So then, like 70 for that. Okay. Um, but I don't know. I I can't say I'm too surprised that the port of this game is not great considering everything that I had heard from the KH one. I don't know.
Yeah, Square does not have a good track record with PC ports. They're generally not. They're sometimes they're not terrible. Sometimes they're terrible. Like the best they usually do is like they're okay, they're serviceable, but they're not great. Like,
Yeah, but they should be better. I think is like the
yeah.
expectations they need to be better. So another swing and a miss here. Another swing and a miss here. We're getting a lot of the disappointments here, but next couple are probably we're going to see a couple disappointments here for news in a second too. But yeah, I don't. I mean, for those that actually only had access to the PC version of Final Fantasy VII remake, I'm sorry, but for everybody else, maybe just
Oh, and the
support
other
the
thing
PlayStation.
is, unless you have a PS5, this is the only way to play Intergrade. You can't buy the
Oh, that's right.
DLC for the PS4 for the last gen version at all. You either have to buy a PS5 and get the upgrade to go to Intergrade, or
Right.
you have to buy this version to get it, which is just I don't know. They must have had some deal with Sony on that for the PS5 exclusivity, but it's an asinine business decision to me because your install base on PS4, especially for something like this, is huge.
It's
And
bigger. It should be for both, but yeah, I'm sure Sony said no, 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 no. We need to sell the PS5, put Integrate on there, which is stupid because you can't even sell it right now. It's impossible to sell. It's impossible to fucking sell. Anytime I see a news article about there's a PlayStation 5 available, it's immediately like edit sold out already.
it's gone.
Already gone. It's like who cares? At this point, I have my Series S. By the way, you can get Series S's really. So like I have like no complaints with this system. Like I just like I don't I it's like amazing to me. It's like people calm down. Like just sometimes you just gotta settle. I wanted an Xbox Series S, believe me, but Series S is great. And for Sony, they're like, no, we gotta sell PS5. We gotta sell PS5. You can't do it, dude. You can't actually sell it because it sells out too quickly. So there's no point in this. You might as well just put it on the PS4 too to increase the amount of people who have access to it. Like you said, it's just like the dumbest shit. But
Yeah,
I
Square just charged $20 for the DLC or something like
I
that on the
will
PS4 version.
I will truly never understand Sony, to be honest. And that is a typical Sony decision. That is 100% a typical like, oh, Sony's doing something kind of stupid to push out their new system. Oh, shock! Wow, color me surprised. Oh, look, a questionable decision. It's either Nintendo, Sony. Xbox has their questionable decisions. Anytime I hear something like, "Oh, Sony made that decision," yeah, that makes sense. They're
Yep,
weird.
that sounds like Sony.
It's a Sony decision. Makes sense. Okay. So, by the way, speaking of Tricourage in the chat, um, Try is a huge NFT fan, according to
Hmm.
my sources. So, Ubisoft recently, for God knows what reason, Ubisoft has decided they're going to be at the forefront of NFTs in games. See how he said "fuck off." He meant that he really likes them. So, Ubisoft, I really don't understand this. Like, Ubisoft is weird. Ubisoft's the like kind of weirdo developer. They're like in the corner, like doing something weird, doing their own thing, and they've decided let's just put NFTs in our games now. And collectively, people are rolling their eyes, of course. So
Oh, Ubisoft.
they're just like they earlier this month, the video game studio launched Quartz, a platform that allows users to acquire playable NFTs. The platform has failed to garner acceptance from gamers. Wow, color me surprised. So we can even look up Quartz. Quartz. It is a NFT studio for Ubisoft, and here's the page. Here you go. Be unique, control, play. Guarantee you this is not unique. They just live and breathe the microtransactions. I agree with you. They do this weird stuff.
Yep.
So, is a new experience for our players built upon our vision of creating an ever greater connection between you and the game worlds you love. It aims at offering you more autonomy and agency, a lie, when interacting with the in game items that help you craft your own story, another lie. This is the place where you can acquire Digits, the first Ubisoft NFTs playable in an HD game and relying on an energy efficient technology. Another lie.
Another lie.
Digits allow you to complete your missions in style. I don't get this. See here, I don't get this. Okay, so in-game NFT. What the fuck even is that?
Like, how do you get it? How do you farm
Like,
it? How do you mine it? I don't get it. Like,
so like NFTs conceptually are like, let's take the pictures example. You buy a picture and you get like some receipt that says here's the address of your picture that proves that you have ownership of this picture, one of 100 ownership of the picture, right? How does that work with a game? Is it going to be the same concept where it's like you have this gun skin? Here's the address of this gun skin. You are one of 100 people that owns this skin. So it's basically just like it's like in Call of Duty when you had Red Tiger, but only 100 people could have Red Tiger. So they give them serial numbers. So only 100 people can have the Red Tiger. Look, let me sum up. Let me actually sum up the Let me sum up the paragraph. Actually, now I think I figured it out. Ubisoft Quartz is a new way for us to fuck over our players. Built upon a vision of kissing our asses and making more money, we connect you to our buttholes so that you smell as shitty as our service. It aims at offering you less autonomy and no agency so that you can just get a big ass middle finger from us and you can not craft a story at all because we hate you.
and you can give us more money.
This is the place where you can acquire digits. The first who gives a shit NFTs for bros, playable in an HD game and relying totally on energy efficient technology. Kappa crossing fingers. Hee hee ha ha. I don't even get NFTs in games. That would just piss me off. You can sell the digit to other players. That would just piss me off. Actually.
But we've tried games have tried the auction house. Like, remember when Diablo 3 had like that
Yes.
item auction house? People hated that shit, like, and they shut it down.
Yeah, I think this is
Like,
but this is like the item auction house. I didn't actually know specifically like how it worked 100%. But like, let's say there's an armor, and like armor in Diablo, generally speaking, you're gonna get some uniqueness, but not a whole lot. Like you're trying to get certain stats to roll, right?
it's procedurally generated
Correct.
stuff, so
But like, if I get a helmet in Diablo that's like procedure generated, that's like, I guess it's like that's not necessarily the only helmet that procedurally generated that dropped.
yeah.
This is like, here's a red tiger skin in your Ubisoft shooter game. One of 100 people have it, and you can sell these digits to another person. I think that's how it's going to work, right?
And Ubisoft will take a
And Ubisoft
percentage or
takes like
something.
5%, probably.
Takes a cut. Yeah.
They probably take more than that. So, well, I don't know. It sucks. This just sounds like it. This sounds like it sucks. What game is this even for? It says, which games is it for? This is just the beginning. Oh God. What games? Is there any? Oh, Ubisoft Quartz and Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Why did they put it in Breakpoint?
Nobody likes that game.
That's the shittiest game to put it in. What? What? Who decided that? Who stood up in the boardroom and said, I know the game. Breakpoint. All 13 of our players will enjoy this.
That, like, the only game worse they could have put it in was that shitty battle royale that nobody liked.
Yeah, that's right. Who's a what's this? Hyperscape.
Hyperscape. That I was gonna say Slipspace. I knew that wasn't it, but yeah, Hyperscape.
Shitscape. Shitscape.
That's the one.
So, why Breakpoint? Here's the thing, though. Like, why Breakpoint? You could have done this for Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rainbow Six Siege sounds like the winner for this one.
It's
but,
got more players. Yeah, you'll probably piss them off, but there's more players. You could have done this for like the Division or something. Division 2. I don't know. Why Breakpoint? Ubisoft is so Ubisoft sometimes. Every time I see something Ubisoft, the first thing that I see is that is such a Ubisoft thing to do. This is a Ubisoft thing to do. Go into NFTs and do this shit. I have nothing else to say for this. Ubisoft. This is Ubisoft being Ubisoft.
Oh, Ubisoft.
It's just Ubisoft being Ubisoft. You can literally do. Also, Kuru, I've got a digit for Ubisoft too. Middle finger. Actually, nice. Send that to them. See if you can sell that to them. Here, I got this NFT for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, let's move on. Okay, I've got Genshin news. So everybody, wake up. We have Genshin news.
Yep,
Everyone, wake up.
we have Genshin news.
Wake up from your naps. We have Genshin news. Wake up. There are more skins in Genshin now. I'm not saying anything regarding quality of the skin. By the way, I'm guessing there's no additional animation effects for
What?
these skins.
She looks the same.
Oh, what the hell? I just got off the page. There we go. So there's the that's the Keqing skin, and this one's the Ningguang skin. So I'm just gonna tell you right now.
These look like color swaps. Like,
I mean, this one, I don't remember what the it looks like a white and black.
yeah. Now this dress is a little skimpier, I think.
This one's
on
skimpier.
Ningguang
It's a little skimpier.
than
The Keqing
than
one kind of just looked like a color swap to me, but it's a bit
yeah,
more like the back makes it look like it's like got butterfly wings or something. I don't know.
a
Okay.
little bit. I think she has more. She has like white on her normal outfit. I don't
Yes.
remember.
There's it's like yeah, it's like this. So I'm just gonna tell you, this one's gonna sell hotcakes. This Ningguang one's gonna sell hotcakes. This one's gonna sell like hotcakes. They're gonna make so much money on this one. But there are no additional effects. The price is the exact same as the Gene skin. 1,680 Primogems. As a reminder, I believe that's $13, $15. It's about $15. I'm gonna say because
What?
you have to get the higher tier of purchase.
Isn't that like $25 or $30?
Is that? I thought it was no. That can't be right. I thought it was 20. That can't be right. I don't remember. Now I'm confused.
I haven't played. I haven't played Genshin in a while.
I'm
I
thinking.
actually
Yeah,
don't
I'm
remember
thinking.
the
Last time.
conversion right. But it's 16. From what I remember, it's 1,600 for a 10 pull, right?
Yes, it is.
I remember that being like $25 to $30.
Oh God. Okay, so the skins. They're going to be discounted to start at 1380 or something like that, like 1280. I don't remember. And then the regular price is 1680. So they're going to start at like 20 to $25, and then but they're going to be discounted to, I guess, like $20, something like that, like somewhere around a little bit under $20. Point is, this is going to sell like hotcakes. This one's going to sell a lot. So they're finally coming back to skins. It took them 6 months, but they're coming back to skins.
At least like the Jean and Barbara ones were like had some effort in them. Like it was a different costume with the summer like swimsuit theme.
Yeah.
This Keqing one is basically a palette swap, and the Ningguang one
The
is
Ningguang one looks
a
somewhat
little.
different. It looks
It's a
different.
little better. It's a little better, but not much. Like usually when you make a skin, there's like a theme to it or something. This is like, yeah, let's just put a different dress and a different color on them. Okay, cool. Thanks.
I
Thanks,
don't
MiHoYo.
remember if there was like an event for this that made it like this. There must have been some event or something. Oh God, I can't remember. But yeah, these are coming out in like a week, like soon, actually, really soon, because the next update's in after the weekend. So I think the Ningguang one's gonna like sell really well, but
Have
the
you
other
been playing
I don't think
Genshin
this one.
still?
Yes, I do. I do play still. Um, this one's probably not gonna sell as well. But the Ningguang will. I just know that the community fucking loves Ningguang. They go crazy for her. They go crazy for her. She's like adored. So this will
Okay.
sell. This will sell really well. The Keqing one probably not as much.
Even though like nobody uses her, she's like a trash tier unit.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter actually.
Yeah.
They'll just get it because it's like a beloved character. So they're just gonna get it. I just know. Like I think this will be the highest selling skin of all of them. The Barber one people could get for free, but you know they sell it now. The Jean one they sold. Neither of these you can get for free at all. You can't get them for free at all. You have to buy it. So this is the first time that both of them are going to purchase only. Which I think, yeah, I think they're purchase only. Which I wish they were like $10 cheaper. Is what I'm going to say. I wish
At
they were
least.
$10 cheaper because these should have animation effects, but they don't. These should have animation effects 100%. So There's your Genshin news. More skins are coming. It took them like 6 months. I don't understand why they don't do more holiday themed skins. Like for example, Halloween. That was a good opportunity. These aren't even winter related skins. They're just
Nope.
blue. So I don't know about that. I mean, like they can do skins for the lunar New Year events in February. They can do skins for like they did the beach ones. Though that was like a holiday, like not holiday, but seasonal themed
Yep.
skins. I don't even know this one. I don't know. I don't know actually. I think it is centered around like specifically some type of event. But I just don't know what the event is in
Yeah.
general. It's
These
like a
to me,
lunar stars event or something.
these to me seem like very low effort, even less and overpriced. But I mean, the other ones were overpriced too. But at least it seemed like there was some effort put into those.
For the event is
The
the
event,
color
yeah,
blue.
the event is navy
It's
blue,
it's like
navy
some kind of
blue
like stars
event.
event, so that's why they're blue. They're
Yeah.
supposed to look like the sky or something. But like, could have been more. Anyway, okay. Let's actually. I have to preface this next one with something. Okay, so this happened about a week and a half ago. Okay, so ESL announced a $500,000 women's CS:GO circuit. This is a big deal. I just want I personally think this is a really big deal because I think some people have tried to do like women only teams and those haven't had success because they've gone into other major circuits and just not performed well. I think League had that at once. There was like a League of Legends women's team super well. I think at some point there was probably a CS:GO women's team particularly well. So ESL has decided, okay, we're going to separate the more traditional league that we have currently set up, and we're going to do a specifically women's circuit. Yeah, the league one got absolutely demolished. I don't remember the name of it, but they got demolished. Um, so they're going to do a women's only circuit. I am in favor of this. I am 100% in favor of this. I think there is no reason not to do it. I think it's great. I think as soon as you make sure that everything's all tied up and you try and make sure that all the rules are clear, you know, assuming that like if you were like for example, if you identify as a woman, are allowed to participate. That way, you can integrate trans community. That way, they are integrated in as well, so they feel like they are not left out. Everything, all that gets cozied up and tied away, and we're all good. Great. I think it's great. You get like this big prize pool. You have like teams specifically headlined by women. You promote like an environment that like it's in some ways it's a little bit why you'd want to do something like okay, you have like the men's Olympics, right, where they have the World Cup. I'm sorry, the men's World Cup. You have the women's World Cup. It's nice to have both actually. There are a lot of people who are fans of the U.S. women's soccer team, and the
Hmm.
U.S. soccer team happens to do particularly well. The women's team, they win often, so I think it's great. I don't think there's any reason not to do it. Okay, so the whole idea was to be more to like remove any issues and toxicity or like if you have like women on your team and it's a male dominated team in general, you try and remove the element of like possible harassment. Does the normal league have any women now? I actually don't know. I wish I was more knowledgeable on all the teams in CS:GO, but it's a male dominated. It's a male
All,
dominated game.
all esports
All
are
esports are for the. I would say I think that is like a.
majority
You
at
can make that
least.
statement. I think it's pretty accurate. Um, maybe like if you count like, but even like certain card games, it's. So anyway, okay. So this I will like feel free to go through the article on your own and just like look through it because it breaks down the prize pools and all the events that'll happen. And by providing an infrastructure equal to their male counterparts, we are thrilled to create more visibility and opportunities for women in the esports space, as well as to support them in their professional development and to help make their dreams come true. This is the first part of a number of GG for All initiatives we're currently working on. Can't wait to tell you more. Okay. Again, I think this is good. Messaging, I think, is good. Oh, excuse me. So, I mean, League of Legends had women in the professional leagues. There was I forgot I forgot the gamer tech. She actually passed
Yeah,
away
yeah, I know I saw
years
at
ago.
least one or two in League at some point.
Yeah, and I know one of them that passed away recently. Not well, like within the past couple of years. That was really sad. That was a sad. That was a But yeah, we just the idea is they just want to build this like ecosystem where it's like more to promote women in space, and I'm personally all for this. Okay, I've prefaced it right. We have a picture. Okay, we have a picture. This is Thorin. Thorin's a piece of shit. Okay, he's a turd. Okay, now that you know he's a turd, Thorin is the quote unquote esports historian. He's a CS:GO analyst, commentator. He's been a commentator for a long time, and this news really troubled him because he thinks that what ESL is trying to do is say that all men are toxic. Okay, and all men are toxic, and the messaging is poor, and all this jazz. And I just want everyone to understand the meme that came from Thorin here, and that is he said with no with just nothing to behind that. At one point, he had a thread, and he just said, "He is esports." I just like I want you to understand that this person actually has a voice in esports. I do want you to understand this. He has a voice in esports, and I've never seen anybody melt down this hard before. Like he just melted down. I
Yeah,
encourage you to look through this person. It's just at Thorin.
he built the entire esports industry and it rests on his shoulders. Be gone, peon.
It's just like
I I have never okay. I'm not super into the esports scene, but I have never heard of this guy until this. I mean, pardon me, I don't watch Counter
yeah,
Strike,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah. It's
you
understandable.
know
It's
that's part
understandable.
of it. But like, if he was that big of a name in esports, you think I would have freaking heard of him? Like,
He's like very specific to certain communities in like CS:GO as well. But like he just like I was made aware of him 7 years, 6 or 7 years ago by somebody who when I was doing like some stuff, um, trying to start a company. I had somebody who I met. It was like a college student, and we were talking to him at a game event, and he connected. He basically told me about Thorn. He's like, "Oh, you should check this guy out. His name is Thorn." Okay, so that's why I know of him. So I followed him at one point. I think I still see his pings. This guy just absolutely melted down on Twitter. If you ever want to see a meltdown of epic proportions, here you go. Yeah, it's just like I just it's amazing to me. If you want to see a meltdown of epic proportions, go ahead, look up Thorin. He's a turd. It's that's not even an opinion of mine. He's a turd. He is just a turd. I just nothing else to say. I only brought this up because he melted down the entire week, and he has just been bombarded because he just said he's just saying this stupid shit. He's just saying stupid shit. So this was the only other thing that I wanted to mention here. Go check this out, and you will see a crazy meltdown. It was pretty epic. It's a good
I wonder
laugh
if
too.
anything is gonna happen, like if he's gonna lose his job and stuff
No,
like this.
probably not. No, this is kind of his thing. There are a couple esports personalities that do this. They're kind of like I'm not gonna say
Oh,
they're shitters on Twitter, but they're like they're kind of just like these they're like bullies, but they're oh god. Yeah, they're basically bullies on social media. Like they kind of just bully you, but they're fragile. They have these fragile
hmm,
egos. So if you like
yep.
test their fragile ego, they like shatter immediately. There are a couple of those. I'm not going to name the others that I think
Like,
are fragile.
like most bullies, they have to bully people and tell people they're crap to feel good about themselves because they actually hate themselves.
No, they're just like this guy's just a turd. He just thinks way too highly of himself. So this is the problem. You kind of like have people like this who they have these really fragile egos, and when you call them on it and you say and you're like, no, you're being an idiot, they like implode. This is one of those.
Hmm.
He just is like he just is like There's just nothing else to it. Insecurity. That's the word. He's completely
Yep.
insecure. He has just so much insecurity. And there's a couple more like that. And it's funny because when I was doing stuff, we had another one who was he's a big esports name, mostly in the Dota and CSGO community. Again, I won't say the name just for now, but if you're curious, you can. When I was doing the company work, we came out with this article, and we used it. We had this terrible title for the article. What is this fourth tweet down? I don't even know. I don't. This guy's a shitter. He's a shitter. But we had this like terrible article title, and this guy like basically he bullied us on social media. He was like, "This is a terrible title. You're idiots," and his whole community bombarded him. And it came out that he was actually like an abusive person in the workplace, and he actually like punched people at his job, and he completely left social media because he's fragile.
Big surprise.
Because he's fragile. He's like, "Oh, I'm being attacked. Time to leave." It's like, so this is like there are a couple of these people, and I've noticed they're like, I've only noticed the esports ones in particular, but like yeah, they're kind of like they do these like bullyish personas, but they're really insecure about it. So this is one of them. I just wanted to highlight this. Just you gotta look through this guy. It's like crazy. It's the craziest thing. It's so funny. So anyway, okay, I personally think the ESL thing where they're doing that women's circuit I think it's great. So I think it's a good thing to do. And I hope that it's successful enough where somebody else does it somewhere else. I think it should work out because I think it's a good thing. So yeah, that's I think that's the bulk of the news that we had on here. Okay, so at this point now we have a couple things on our list still. We have Halo, obviously. We have our Halo conversation. We have upcoming games, and we have favorite games from this year. I'm thinking we talk Halo first. That's really specific. And then we can branch out to the other.